Ask any West African who makes the best jollof rice and you won't get a calm answer. You will get an argument, a flag waving, chest stomping, cultural battle. They'll say that Nigerian jollof is too smoky, Ghanaian jollof too soft, Senegalese, that's not even real jollof, some would say. While in my opinion, Nigerian jollof is the best, of course, and behind all this banter, there is a hidden truth that we all fail to recognize. Jollof rice is not iconic because one country can claim it. It's iconic because every country does. These arguments about which jollof rice is the best aren't proof of division. They are proof of ownership. Proof that the dish has been claimed, adapted, and remixed by millions of people. Proof that greatness isn't about guarding an original recipe, but it's about daring to remix it until it becomes your own. That's why it lives forever, and that is innovation. Oxford Dictionary defines innovation as the action or process of creating a new idea, method, or product. But in my opinion, that doesn't tell you the full story. Too often, we think that innovation is a moment of genius, like something just happens. An apple falls in your head and suddenly you've come up with theories of gravity. Too often, we picture innovation as fully formed and perfect at its initial state. But sometimes, it is not a lightning bolt of genius. It is years of refining and refusing to give up until the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Let me give you an example. Step into the year 1970, Bangkok, Thailand. Imagine yourself to be a young woman in your early 30s who has just watched a fire destroy your family's small business, leaving you with no income and no clear way forward. Determined to survive, you turn to cooking street food as a way to make ends meet. At first, you prepare the usual dishes everyone expects. Things like noodles, soups, fried rice, nothing special, but just enough to keep the customers coming. However, over time, you start to think differently. You decide that if you are going to succeed, then you must stand out. So you begin to experiment, slowly saving enough to buy ingredients far above the standard for a regular street store. You start to buy things like crab legs, tiger prawns, golden ikura. With each passing day, you refine your skills, you test new ideas, and you perfect your flavors. And one day, breakthrough. You take the hobo crab omelette, a simple street snack by all means, and you transform it into your own signature dish. The result? A golden, tightly wrapped cylinder filled with sweet crab meat. Breakthrough indeed. And so what begins to spread? First among locals and among travelers, and eventually among food critics from around the world. By 2018, after decades of level-headed persistence, you become the first Thai street food chef to earn a Michelin star. And even with all this recognition, you remain committed to your roots, still working at the same food street stall, still cooking every dish yourself, and still charging fair prices. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the story of Jay Fei, a woman who turned hardship into opportunity and built world-class excellence from the simplest of beginnings. Jay Fei did not have access to state-of-the-art kitchens or celebrity investors, but what she did have was fire and an unwillingness to settle for average. That is innovation. Look at Gordon Ramsay as well. Unbeknownst to many, Gordon Ramsay actually believed of becoming a professional footballer, and even going as far with his dream as to signing with a professional football club, the Rangers. Unfortunately, a career-ending knee injury cut that dream short. But do you know what Gordon did? Instead of giving up, Ramsay took that persistence and resilience that he learned from sports and applied the same to cooking. Marco Pierre White, the legendary chef who once mentored him, said, "Gordon Ramsay is the most competitive man I have ever met. And that competitiveness is what took him to the global stage. Like Gordon, innovation often starts when life shuts one door and forces us to not only walk through, but to build another. It's not only about the first dream that we have, it's about how you rebuild, reinvent, and rise higher than before. And here is the real secret ingredient. Innovation isn't only about the original, it's also about the remix. Think of music, for example. Afrobeat didn't come out of thin air. Fela Kuti did not invent the drums, and he certainly did not invent the saxophone or the electric guitar. But what he did was fuse high life, jazz, and Yoruba drumming into a rhythm so hypnotic 20 minutes would fly by on a single track. There's more. He packed his songs with lyrics that challenged dictators and gave a voice to the oppressed. That wasn't just music, that was resistance you could dance to. Take fashion, for example. When a designer takes old denim jeans, worn and faded, and patches it with Ankara fabric, suddenly, something that looks old and disposable becomes bold and new. That is innovation. Sometimes innovation looks like Lagos. Walk through Balogun Market on a crowded afternoon and you will see it. A guy by the roadside has combined a dead power bank and a broken flashlight into a 5-hour mini generator. A food vendor nearby is frying puff puff on an old fan cover, flipped over wood. There is no board meeting, there is no blueprints, just raw creativity. That is innovation. And even language itself. When a Nigerian tweets, "Omo, today no is you, but we move." It's English, it's Pidgin Yoruba, it's all mashed together. And the product is something that only we could create. That is innovation. So I urge you to abandon the thinking of innovation as a spark, sudden, pure, and perfect in its initial state. The real truth about innovation is that it is more like a stew. It's messy, it burns, it simmers, and sometimes, at the right time, it overflows. Remember when I was talking about the jollof rice debates? Nigerian, Senegalese, Ghanaian? Maybe that's not even really what matters anymore. Last week, Hilda Baci broke the record for the largest pot of jollof rice ever recorded. 2,780 kilograms. In one single event, she took a familiar dish and turned it into a global headline. Not by changing the recipe, but by changing the scale. Hilda Baci did not invent jollof rice, but she redefined what was possible with it. That is innovation. So the next time that you step into the kitchen, I want you to do something different. Spice it a little different. Mix it messily. Serve it proudly. The world needs more recipes. And maybe, just maybe, the next one is already inside of you. Thank you very much.